The golden age of GOAT format is a period of Yu-Gi-Oh's history officially played throughout the summer of 2005. Based around the power and popularity of the card Scapegoat, this format abides by the April 2005 ban list, utilizing every card available up until and including the Lost Millennium. It's safe to say that GOAT format is probably the most popular alternative format Yu-Gi-Oh has to offer, and while it isn't officially sanctioned by Konami, it's a fantastic way for newer players to learn Yu-Gi-Oh's basic mechanics and older players to immerse themselves in a more nostalgic experience. In this series, both MBT and myself will be traversing the sands of Yu-Gi-Oh's history. Each episode will take a deep dive into Yu-Gi-Oh's past formats and unlock new strategies as new sets become available. Strap yourselves in because anything is possible. Welcome to the history of Yu-Gi-Oh!
It's been a rough day. I'm in mourning. My good pal VFD was unfairly banned by the higher-ups at Konami. Rest in peace, true king of all calamities. Someday you'll return to ruin another format. I gotta tell you, it is completely jarring going from a format that is in complete disarray, that is the TCG, to a format that has had more attention paid to it than any in the history of time, GOAT format. This is our third episode in everyone's favorite historical format, technically second, though realistically that Lost Millennium episode does count. We've got 15 decks represented here. I won the last episode, Alex won the one before that, so this is for all the marbles. What we roll here today will determine who will be the GOAT superstar and who will be scattered to the ashes of history like so many of the cards that were banned from this. For many people, this is the last format they truly enjoyed. I maintain that Yu-Gi-Oh! Remains good to this day, but it's certainly shifted. The way that you play Yu-Gi-Oh! Now is so much different than the way that you played it around GOATs. And for those that like this style of gameplay, this is the last chance they're going to have to see it in action. Now, in the last couple of episodes, one of us has been playing a deck that is pretty objectively unfair. Ideally, we'll both be playing a control style deck here, and we'll be able to actually show off some of the interactions this format has to offer. But rest assured, there is still a lot of nonsense on this wheel. I've got 3 spins banked, and I will use them all. We've got Last Turn, which of course is ridiculous, Empty Jar, another broken combo deck, Burn, which has a lot of variance. Realistically, we could make some fun stuff happen with that, Emissary Aggro, which I will not be playing, Goat Control, the deck for which the format is named, Soul Control, a more reactive style of deck that aims to use the Monarchs to control the game, Recruiter Chaos, which is, of course, a version of Chaos that uses recruiters like Mystic Tomato and Shining Angel to get lights and darks into the graveyard, Pac-Man, one of my all-time favorite decks that uses Desolacuda as a repeatable advantage engine, Kei OTK, a equip spell OTK deck that I really don't want to play, Warrior Toolbox, an all-around good mid-range deck, Skill Drain Beatdown, which aims to remove as much skill from the format as possible and get in with Berserk Gorilla, Tiger Stun, a deck that I would have no qualms playing. It aims to use King Tiger Wangu's powerful Floodgate effect to keep a lot of opponents' monsters offline, Rescue Cat OTK, one of the first decks that made use of this extremely powerful card, Library FTK, an FTK that is so absolutely strong, for a lot of the format, people had to gentleman's out of it. It's got something like an 80% go-off first turn rate, and I hope to God we don't have to play against it. And my favorite deck represented on this list, Relinquished. Think of it as bad chaos. Functionally, Manju is a really good card. Anything that adds something to your hand is great. You can either use that additional card to pitch to something like Raigeki Break, or as light and dark fodder for the Chaos monsters. So those are our options, and I'm really hoping that I pull a slow as molasses control deck. Let's give the wheel a couple of spins and see what we end up with. God, we were so close. Well, Kei OTK is an interesting deck, but I wouldn't call it good by any stretch of the imagination. Certainly it's funny, but we've had funny for the last couple of episodes. I want to play a deck that actually has staying power. Let's give it a reroll. Almost got Pac-Man. Yeah, let's do Soul Control.
I don't even care. I honestly don't even care that I have to adorn the Shirt of Shame this episode, even though I look fantastic in it. And the reason for that is because we drove Joseph into madness playing what we played in the last episode. We're up in the series. I can afford to lose some. It's worth it. But we are going to be completing our best of 3 in GOAT format with one final episode. I won the first GOAT format episode. Joseph won the second. And this is going to settle it all before we move on to Cybernetic Revolution. As to like last time, we removed some of the decks that we played in the previous episodes and replaced them with some new ones. First up, we have Kei OTK. This deck's actually kind of cool. It takes advantage of a ton of different equip spells onto Kei, who can attack multiple times depending on how many cards he's equipped with. That's a neat little deck. And then we also have Relinquished on here as well. We're kind of scraping the bottom of the barrel for some of these decks that are decently playable. Joseph said he really wanted to play this, so I decided to humor him when I built today's wheel. But let's go ahead and get some nice good spins on here. We have a total of 3, so our first spin and 2 respins if we don't like what we get. We're really hoping for one of at least the playable decks just to close out the mini series we got going on here. And that is not what we're going to be playing. Joseph would have absolutely loved to spin that, but I am not going to, so we're just going to immediately spin again. Maybe he'll get it for you guys, so then that way you can see what this deck is all about, but I'm not even going near that whatsoever. Okay, so I actually passed up GOAT Control in the previous episode to go ahead and play Exodia instead, and maybe it was planned all along. Maybe I wanted to skip GOAT Control to keep it on the wheel for this third and final episode, so that way I can actually play it for the finale. And since we are in GOAT Control, I guess I'll be boring this time, and I'll settle for actually playing the deck.
So here's the list, and what impresses me the most about this deck is how modern it looks. Most GOAT format decks you'll come across are playing a lot of 1 and 2 ofs, not because those cards are limited or semi-limited, but because over the course of a long game, they expect to run into a certain number of copies of them. This is just playing every card it wants to see at 3 and every card that's limited at 1. There's a couple of 2 ofs, but they're likely because there's not enough space in the deck, not because the cards are particularly weak. I really, really like this. This is Siuski's Soul Control list. It's adapted a very small amount because the one that they used to get Master Rank on the GOAT format ladder in February of 2019 is a little different than the one that they saved to their own dueling book. So I tried to marry the difference as much as I can and get something that is an adequate representation of what this deck looked like. Now, if it was being played in 2005, Soul Control was a lot looser. It wasn't on 3 copies of Soul Exchange, it wasn't on all these books of Moon, it certainly wasn't on this amount of flip monsters. Often it was played like Warrior Toolbox that would occasionally draw a Soul Exchange and go into a powerful Monarch, which were good in their own right. But as the format developed in a post-GOATS world, people figured out that things like Mobius or Thestalos Turbo were good enough to play on their own. We're playing a bunch of monsters that draw cards, a bunch of really powerful spells, and a bunch of ways to stall until we can find Soul Exchange plus a Monarch, or get ourselves into a powerful position where we can just tribute off something like a Sinister Serpent. That's where cards like Book of Moon come in by blanking attack steps. As a result, we're playing a lot of individual removal. We're going to be able to run our opponents out of monsters more often than not, and something like a Mobius is really, really good on a simplified board state. Ideally, we'll be able to go second and wallop Alex, but realistically, I think that we can convert to a really powerful control deck that just so happens to be playing a couple of Monarchs as well in games 2 and 3 if it is demanded. You can see in the side deck, we're playing a lot of cards like Trap Dust Shoot and 7 Tools of the Bandit, which all exist to prevent ridiculous nonsense from making its way into the format. We're also playing Brain Control, a card that was legal because of Lost Millennium, one of the very few decks that's actually flexing this card, but you can see even in the list in which it is most at home, it's only okay. Anyway, let's go through the card by card. We've got a copy of Breaker the Magical Warrior. Big surprise, this card is incredibly powerful and sticks around a lot of the time. Good for this deck. 2 Dark Mimic level 1, it's like a bad Dekoichi. Speaking of, 3 copies of Dekoichi, it's like a good Dark Mimic. 2 copies of Magician of Faith, it was pretty standard to play 2, even though this card is just so powerful. 3 copies of Mobius the Frost Monarch. This is the more powerful of the 2 Monarchs. When its tribute summoned, you can destroy 2 spells and traps on the field, and boy oh boy is that a good effect. We're on Sangen as well as Sinister Serpent, and 3 copies of Thestalos the Firestorm Monarch. This one's a little less powerful, but still very good in its own right. When it's tribute summoned, you can discard a card out of your opponent's hand. I hear that hand control is really strong. We're on 3 copies of Book of Moon. This is just a generally powerful card, a very good way to remove opponents' threats and keep them face down. If they invest anything into a monster, it's a great way to ensure that that monster is not going to get a battle phase in, and we can maybe tribute the monster they'd be attacking otherwise in order to go into a Monarch. If we have something like a set Dekoichi, a Book of Moon is fantastic. It'll prevent the trade. We'll flip the Dekoichi and then tribute for a Mobius for a huge swing back. We've got Delinquent Duo, Graceful Charity, Heavy Storm, nothing really to say about these. 3 Metamorphosis, it's a lot, but I mean, it's just such a powerful card. Double Nobleman of Crossout, because we are sort of a control deck, and because unfortunately Soul Exchange is not really fantastic at preventing everything from sticking off the field. We do want a way to remove face down monsters, and if our game plan ends up being run our opponents out of guys, this is a great way to do so. We're on Pot of Greed, we're on triple Scapegoat. We are very, very slow, and as a result, we do need to protect our own life points. Snatch, Steal, triple Soul Exchange, a Mirror Force, a Ring of Destruction, and 3 Sakuretsu Armor. Now, Soul Exchange is a card with very interesting properties. You're allowed to target a monster your opponent controls and then tribute that monster as if it was your own in order to perform a tribute summon over the course of a turn. Unfortunately, it locks you out of the battle phase, so we have to ensure that what we're tributing for, one of the Monarchs, gets us enough that if it's killed on the crackback, it doesn't really matter. In the side, we've deviated a little bit from the original list. We've got a copy of Tribe Infecting Virus because I imagine there's some nonsense Alex could be playing. We're on 3 copies of Brain Control, a Mystical Space Typhoon, a Swords in case we really need to slow things down, double Compulse, a Dust Tornado, triple 7 Tools of the Bandit. This is kind of an interesting call. I think that it not only beats a bunch of really degenerate spells and traps that would otherwise give us pause, but also prevents us from losing a monster we've invested resources into to something like a Sakuretsu Armor. And 3 Trap Dust Shoot. This card's at 3. Do you know that? Okay, let's play some games.
All right, you guys, so this is the deck we are bringing to today's duel. Now, if you've ever seen anyone play GOAT format at a tournament or a locals or maybe out in public at like your school or something, they've probably played a deck very similar to this. This is one of the most standard cookie cutter GOAT format decks you can come across, and is a great template for you to use if you want to start playing the format. So we're going to quickly do the card by card. First up is Aeronite Parshat. This is actually an incredible card in this deck because it hits over most of the other monsters that you might come across in the format, draws you cards, has piercing, and works very well in tandem with Metamorphosis because you can Metamorphosis over a GOAT token for Thousand Eyes, and then you can go into the Aeronite Parshath and sacrifice over it, and that way you can get a ton of advantage very quickly. Blackluster Soldier is one of the best boss monsters in the deck. You're going to see us hold this for as long as we can because we want to use this at the absolute last moment that we have to, or when we're going to win the game, or if it gets threatened by something like Delinquent Duo, just so we don't lose it. 1 copy of Breaker just because it's an all-star. 1 copy of DD Warrior Lady is a nice piece of removal for getting rid of large threats. We also have 2 copies of Magical Merchant. This is really cool because it's level 1 for Metamorphosis. It's a light for BLS, which is nice, but it also digs us to our power spells and traps, and can possibly get cards we don't really want in our hand in the graveyard, such as Sinister Serpent. Aeronite Parshath isn't terrible in the grave if we have a Premature Burial or a Call of the Haunted, so this card is just all around fantastic, and helps us get to some of the better cards in our deck, such as Duo, Graceful Charity, and Pot of Greed, a lot more quickly. 3 copies of Magician of Faith, just because I think Magician of Faith is fantastic, and I think most players would probably play 2, but I'm going to go ahead and try 3 and see how it works out. 1 copy of Morphing Jar just to reset our hand if we're not happy with what we got, or to draw a fresh one if we're falling very far behind. Sangan's also really good because it can search most of our deck. Sinister Serpent is great for recursion, but also for discard fodder with cards such as Tribe Infecting Virus. This is fantastic for dealing with the goats themselves because you can just clear them all in one go and possibly pave the way to win the game. And 2 copies of Tsukiyomi to that way effectively lock your opponent out of the game. With Thousand Eyes Restrict, you can flip the Thousand Eyes face down, flip it back up, steal a new monster, and it's going to be very difficult for your opponent to play the game. It can also deal with your opponent's threats as well, like an opposing Thousand Eyes Restrict, which is why it is one of the all-stars of the deck. For the spells, 2 copies of Book of Moon. This is just a fantastic card, and I love that this card sees about as much play now in modern Yu-Gi-Oh! As it did back in the day. We have Delinquent Duo as well, plus Graceful Charity, Heavy Storm, 3 copies of Metamorphosis, because if you're not using Metamorphosis on Scapegoat to be able to go into Thousand Eyes, you're probably doing something wrong. This card is just amazing, and honestly, I love the design of this card, but it definitely should be banned. We also have Mystical Space Typhoon, 2 copies of Nobleman to deal with his set threats, Pot of Greed, Premature Burial, 2 copies of Scapegoat, and 1 copy of Snatch Steal. For the traps, Call of the Haunted, 2 Dust Tornado, Mirror Force, Ring of Destruction, 2 Sakuretsu Armor, and Torrential Tribute. Just all good standout trap cards that you're going to come across a lot of in this format. For the side deck, we have 2 copies of Abyss Soldier. This is a card we really haven't gotten the chance to talk about. I believe this was released in the Ocean's Fury structure deck that came alongside the Blaze of Destruction structure deck. This card's pretty cool. Once per turn, you can discard a water monster, target a card on the field, return it to the hand. So if you manage to keep this on the board and you have like Sinister Sinister Serpent in rotation, you always have a way to bounce your opponent back, so that's a cool little soft lock you can get under your opponent. Plus, he's 1800. He's also just kind of big. 2 copies of Jujutsu Master to keep the opponent at bay and maybe make them think twice about hitting into a set monster. 2 copies of Mobius if Joseph's on a back row heavy deck. This card is just great for being able to blow out those cards, possibly pave the way for a win. 2 copies of Creature Swap. This is really good with stuff like Goats and Sinister Serpent. You can trade a very small monster for a very big one. 2 copies of Mind Crush to complement the 3 copies of Trap Dust Shoot. I'm probably going to side these in when I know I'm going first because Trap Dust Shoot is insane. And 2 copies of 7 Tools of the Bandit as a spell speed 3-way to deal with any sort of trap card nonsense without having to pay half my life points in order to interact with it. So I'm really excited. I haven't played GOAT format in quite a long time, so I'm probably a bit rusty to be honest, but I think I'm still good enough to beat Joseph. Ladies and gentlemen, it's time to duel. Joseph, here we are. The best of 3 GOAT format is coming to a close before we enter the cybernetic revolution and Cyber Dragon ruins the game forever. How are you feeling about your pick?
I'm feeling pretty good. I rolled VW pre-Calamities ban, so I feel pretty confident in my chances.
Yeah,
what about you? Did you take your first pick?
Well, unfortunately, my deck was susceptible to the Union Carrier ban as well as Ben 10 getting limited to 1. But yes, we did get the ban list today, so for everyone watching, this is the day we're recording this. Let us know what you think about the ban list down below. But forget the ban list, Joseph. We're playing GOAT format. We're playing the real Yu-Gi-Oh, as a lot of people would call it. I did have to respin once, so I went with my second pick. I will say that you're not going to be playing against Relinquished. As much as you would have loved to do a Relinquished mirror match, you're not playing against Relinquished, so...
I'll let you know I respun once as well, and unfortunately, you will also not be playing against Relinquished. Big sad.
Okay,
Big
okay.
sad.
You went with your second choice, though. I was really expecting you to burn everything on either Relinquished or Pac-Man, so maybe you got Pac-Man? I don't know. It's like a 1 in 15 chance, so maybe.
Yeah,
we'll
so here's the bad part, is I don't feel safe burning all my spins because half of the wheel is still garbage.
That is true. That is true. Well, let's not wait any longer. Let's go ahead and get into it. Shout out our patron. It is Getty. Thank you so much for the support. Joseph, good luck. And ooh, looks like
big
I will be
surprise.
taking first.
I need to stop picking paper. I have some qualms about your decision-making process. Are you really rolling a die over there?
Oh, it was a 5.
Yeah. Oh yeah.
If that were the case, I would have just picked scissors for the last 10 episodes and never let you go first. I don't know why. Did I actually pick second by accident?
Oh, did you mean to go first?
I meant to go first. Yes,
That's
I'm
fine.
sorry. Put your card back and just pass it over.
Yeah. There you go.
All right, thank you. I appreciate it. I think I'm so used to going second in the progression series that out of habit, I pick that. And thankfully, I don't have to worry about drawing a card because the GOAT format room and dueling book does that automatically. So I feel really relieved about that. Let's go ahead and make something happen here. This hand is decent, I guess. I'll go ahead and set 1, set 2... and I'll go ahead and pass it over.
All right, I will draw for turn. Anything in standby?
No, go ahead.
Okay, so it's not a trap dust shoot. I'll go to M1. I'm gonna set 1 card. But before I set the card, I'm going to normal summon a Breaker the Magical Warrior.
That is no summon negation or anything. Would you like to declare priority and get your counters?
I would like to. I will activate the effective breaker to add 1 counter to this monster.
Sure.
I will attempt to break your set card.
All right, I will chain it as Book of Moon, so I will set your breaker.
Bomb. That's interesting. All right, I'm going to set 1 and pass turn.
Okay, looks like we have a bit of a slower game. That's good. That's good. I'll draw.
Thank God for that, given the last couple of matches.
On my standby phase?
No.
No dust shoot from you either. Okay. Fair enough. I'll go to main 1. I am going to flip up this DD Warrior Lady.
That's fine with me.
I'm going to go to battle and attempt to hit into your breaker.
So breaker's flipped. Would you like to banish him?
I would not like to banish him.
All right, to the grave he goes.
All right, I will go to main phase 2, and I think I will just set myself a card face down, and I'll pass it over to you.
I'll draw for turn. Anything in standby?
Nope.
This is boring. I'll set 1 card, set 1 spell trap, and you are good to go.
Who wants to watch this format?
Man, bring back Exodia. Bring back last turn. What's going on? 2 people playing fair Yu-Gi-Oh. Ugh.
Standby phase, anything.
Nothing.
All right, I'll go to main 1. All right, so set a card face down. I'm going to attempt to nobleman your set monster.
Ooh, that's really bad for me. Oh, that's so bad. Yeah. Away goes my Dekoichi. Do you have any?
Ooh, I do not have Dekoichi.
All right, I've got one other. If you would like to confirm the contents of my deck, you can.
Yeah, let's go ahead and do that. We haven't gotten to do that at all in the GOAT format, and that's technically legal. So just go ahead and show the deck. Let's see what you're working with.
All right, here's what I'm playing, baby.
Oh, you got soul control?
I did.
I'm jealous, actually. I'm very jealous of this.
This deck is so cool.
It's so fun. It's so fun. Okay, so I might be able to figure out what your back row is based off of what I can see here. Potentially. It's not guaranteed. You've got 3 books, so none of those are set. There is 2 goats, but I don't know if this deck plays 3. You also have 2 Sakus. You could be on a third one of those. Mirror Force and Ring are both in here. You might be on a Torrential, so I guess Torrential's something I have to worry about. So it's like Torrential, Saku, Call of the Haunted, I think are like the biggest threats to me at this point.
Really
That's what I'm
sleeping on
thinking.
Time Seal, I gotta tell you.
Oh, that's true. After last episode, man, I gotta really worry about that. Let's go to battle. Let's see what you got.
It is goats.
Okay. I will happily attack into a single goat.
All right.
All right, and then we'll head over to main 2. I'm going to duo you.
You drew that for turn? Wow.
I did.
Okay.
Hit the middle one.
Okay, that's my 3rd Dekoichi, so...
Okay.
Cat's out of the bag on this one. I am going to lose my Metamorphosis.
Okay, fair enough. I'll go to main... I'm still in main 2. I will set an additional card and pass the turn.
I'll draw for turn? Anything in standby.
At least you don't have to worry about Trap Dust Shoot this time. No, you're good.
So I'm going to activate Metamorphosis here.
That is fine.
Anything in response to the activation of Tear's effect.
So I do have the ring.
All right.
We've already done this once before, so that will go away, and I do get to keep the Warrior Lady.
I'll set 1 card, and you are good to go. And boy, do I hate getting Trinitied. Oh, I hate getting Trinitied.
I personally really enjoy it. I'm going to go ahead and Dust Tornado your back row. Let's just get it out of here.
Oof, it was Sakuretsu Armor.
Okay, so what's the 3rd Saku? So you're actually not on a Torrential then. That's interesting. All right, I'll go to main 1. Feeling pretty good about this. I'm going to tribute over Warrior Lady for a Parshath.
Oh, man, that's rough. Yup.
We're going to battle. We'll hit into a goat for 19, and I'll get a draw.
God dang, that is really painful.
Oh, it gets a lot worse. I top decked the Nobleman for your set monster.
All right, it's Dark Mimic LV1. Let's get the other one.
Get those out of the deck.
Okay, this is...
I'll pass. Go ahead.
Not going so hot. Oh, perfect. Right on time, dude. Go ahead.
Oh, thank you. Fantastic. I'll go ahead and draw. Let's go ahead and just get the pressure on. I'm going to normal summon a Tribe Infecting Virus.
Yep.
I suppose I don't need to use the effect because I can just do full damage here. So I will pierce into Scapegoat for 19 and draw a card.
Mm-hmm.
Do the 16 as well. Main 2, I will set 1 and pass the turn. Go ahead.
I'll draw for turn. Oh, perfect. You have got it.
Oh, wow. That was a quick one.
It was. Okay, for the commenters, do you know what this person told me as soon as we finished? Said, what is this fair Yu-Gi-Oh? What is this fair Yu-Gi-Oh? After they delinquent duo double nobleman me. How dare you, sir?
Excuse me, sir. You played Graceful Charity how many times in the last episode? And I did not get a single piece. So if we're going to talk about, Holy Trinity, Unholy Trinity, whatever you'd like to call it.
That was all skill. That was all skill, baby.
Of course it was. Of course. Good luck. At least you're going first this time and know how to click the going first button, as apparently I do not. So.
Hey, speaking of skill, how do you like this, buddy?
Oh, perfect. Fantastic. It depends on what you hit. Then I'll know if you're skillful or not.
All right, we're going to go for this one right here.
I hate you so much. I hate you.
Damn, I'm just so skilled. That just really is the way it is.
Oh, my God. I'll get rid of Dust Tornado.
Sure. I'm going to follow up Delinquent Duo with a pot of green.
This is the perfect setup. The beginning of this was the perfect setup. Did you Graceful Charity too? Oh, good.
Okay, so I'm not going to play around Heavy Storm, I don't think. No reason.
Gee, wonder why. Isn't this such a skillful format? Look at this. Look, you're on 6 cards, and I'm on 3. This is just so skill-intensive. Show me the Trap Dust Shoot. Show me the Trap Dust Shoot now, too.
Okay, I will show you the trap dust
Oh, okay,
shoots.
perfect,
I've got two of
perfect.
them, so we'll fire those off.
You just outplayed yourself, my friend.
Oh, are they? Is it all spells?
It was all spells and traps.
That's fine. I can't trap dust shoot after I resolve the first one because you don't have 4 cards in hand. This is so unfair. If I open broken, I just can't activate trap dust shoot. Oh my god. This game sucks. Why does anyone play this? VFD or no VFD?
All right, well, at least it's 3-4 now, so I'm kind of happy about that. But I'm not happy that I lost that Magician of Faith of all things, because that would have been a really nice follow-up to punish that set 3 over there. All right, well, if that's Magician of Faith, you get Duo back. I suppose I have to play around that, so I guess I'll just set everything and just pass it over.
All right, I'll draw for turn, and then Heavy
And
Storm. I wish.
I was going to say, I'll just lose to Heavy Storm anyway, so...
All right, we're going to go for Dekoichi here.
That is fine.
Mobius. Damn it.
Mobius would have been nice here.
I don't know. Combat?
Sure.
I will attack with Dekoichi.
I will take the 1400.
You sure you don't want to trade a goat? I mean, listen, goats, they're pretty good. I think you should take
It's
it
okay.
pretty seriously, I think. I don't know. I guess I'll end turn.
Okay, I'll draw. That is not good. I suppose I will just pass the turn.
All right, I'll draw for turn. It's Book Tornado Goat. Ugh, this is so crusty because, like, I can't really set any of my cards because you could Dust Tornado them on end step, and they're all really broken. All right, I'll get it for 14 here.
All right, I'll take another 14.
Go to main 2. I'm going to set 1, and then I'll pass turn.
All right, I'll draw. It's not getting much better.
Yu-Gi-Oh!
Well, all right. I'm still kind of afraid of Duo. I'll set a 4th card. I'll pass it over.
All right, I'll draw for turn. Stand by main. You should have been. It is Magician of Faith.
Okay.
Still, Pot of Greed. Pretty decent, I think.
Yeah, I think having both is pretty nice in this
Can I
situation.
find a god dang Mobius?
Pot of Greed's fine.
I did find a god dang Mobius.
All right. So now what are your targets going to be?
All right, I will target. I really want the goddamn Dust Tornado so I could start setting. I'm going to go for the new one because there's no chance the new one is a scapegoat. And I'll go for this one right here.
Okay. Now I need to think. That is very, very crusty. Okay, so in response to your Mobius, I will Book of Moon the Mobius.
That's fine, yeah.
And the last card was also Call of the Haunted, so that's not doing anything.
Oh, you're on call. So I did not get the Dust Tornado.
You did not, no.
I think that's fine. I'm going to set 1 and pass my turn.
Okay, I'll draw.
Tell me I forgot to attack. Yes!
I mean, it kind of does the trick. It's still not great, but I think we got to give it a shot. I'm going to go ahead and normal summon Tribe.
Oh, yeah, that's fine.
See, I know you play Saku. You have Mirror Force as well. It's not looking great. It's not looking great. I mean, I'm probably going to have to bait out Saku eventually. So I suppose we'll do it now. I'll go to battle phase.
Yeah.
I'm going to attempt to hit into Mobius.
I will Book of Moon targeting your tribe.
Okay, that's basically the same thing. So I will set the tribe. Main phase 2, go ahead.
I will draw for turn. Okay, so I actually know that the set cards are Dust Tornado Scapegoat. So I'm going to flip summon Mobius.
Sure.
Tribe has 1,000 defense.
Correct.
Gosh, there is just so much I want to do. All right, we'll go to battle phase. I'm going to walk with Dekoichi.
Sure.
And then I'm going to walk with Mobius.
I am going to let this go through.
Sure. Second
a
main,
big hit,
I'm
but-
going to set 1, and you are good to go.
Okay. I'm going to end phase Goat here.
That's fine.
Okay. If I draw a Metamorphosis off the top, it's pretty good. So I want to actually have it live if I do.
Right.
It was not a Metamorphosis. I'm going to normal summon Tsukiyomi.
Sure, yeah.
I'm going to target your Mobius.
That's fine.
I will go to battle and attempt to attack into Mobius.
It is sack, yes.
It is sack. I figured it was one of them, so it's bound to happen eventually. All right, main 2. Go ahead, end me with Tribe.
God, I wish I had Tribe. I don't. I do have Magician of Faith. I'm going to go ahead and get this Pot of Greed back.
This man was complaining about getting sacked by one delinquent duo, and
shit.
now there is delinquent duo, Pot of Greed into a Thastalos that's going to hit my legendary Jujutsu Master. I'm going to take 300 from that.
right.
I guess I'm not dead, technically.
You are not
Okay.
this second. Second main, I'm going to set 3, and you are good to go.
Well,
Would you care to get rolling?
I am gonna dust one of these.
All right, let's see.
I feel like I don't have a choice because everything for the most part is going to be reactive to what I do. So I feel like I need to have like the best chance possible here. I'm still probably dead. Hit this one.
Unbelievable. Unbelievable. Oh my god.
God. Oh, and you opened double dust shoot, by the way. Let's not forget that.
Well, one of them didn't work, so actually it was fair.
Well, it would have been really cool to drop a BLS, but I don't have a light in my graveyard, so you got it. This guy's out here complaining about getting hit by one measly delinquent duo, and then it's duo into pot of greed into pot of greed into fuck me over 10 times again. Oh, I can't wait.
I knew it.
You forget who you're dealing with here. I can't wait till my hand is like the Holy Trinity plus more. God, I wish it was. Wow,
show me the duo,
sucks.
show me the pot, show me the graceful charity. Let's get this over with.
This hand sucks. This hand is not good. All right, I'll set 1 and set 2 and pass. Go ahead.
Do you have a copy of Trap Dust Shoot?
I do not, nor do I have 2 copies of Trap Dust Shoot, so you're safe from everything. Unbelievable.
Oh, thank goodness. All right, well, I guess I'm gonna set 3. This doesn't matter. I'll pass turn.
All right, show me your Dust Shoot.
No. Going
Okay.
second? I would never play Dust Shoot. You'll never have 4 cards in your hand.
You love Dust Shoot. What are you talking
love
about?
Dust Shoot. I'm a
Dust Shoot's like
huge
one of
Dust
your
Shoot
favorite
enthusiast.
cards.
I
Okay.
maintain Dust Shoot could come back. That's not true. Please do not flame me in the comments. No fucking way.
I was gonna say, you better watch your words on that one. Let's just nobleman the set. Let's see what it is.
I fucking knew it. I was like, the only thing this loses to is Nobleman of Crossout. In like 3 Dekoichis out of the deck. All of the Dekoichis in the world.
This is just where you play the Dimension Fusion, right? And just wreck me like I did to you in the first game.
You doubt me. I boarded into triple limiter removal.
All right, after some more dueling book lag, how do we want to proceed? I suppose I'll flip up this DD Warrior lady once again. She seems to be glued to my hand.
Sure, yeah, fine.
Let's try to hit in.
I'll take the fatty 15.
All right, main 2. I'll set. I'll pass. Go ahead.
I will draw for turn. Do you have anything in standby?
No, I do not have anything in standby. That has not changed.
All right, main 1. I'm going to activate Snatch Steal targeting your warrior lady.
Ugh. Yeah, you can have her.
And to the grave she goes. It's Mobius time, baby.
Oh, that's pretty good. All right, so both my back row are being targeted here. I will chain Scapegoat, so I will get some goats. The other one was unfortunately Sakuretsu armor, so that one's going away.
Would have been nice. I'm going to go to battle and hit your Magician of Faith here.
It is my Magician of Faith. That is correct.
This is kind of a problem. Goats are historically not that difficult to deal with in this format. You know, there's a lot of stuff that punishes it. I'm not on very much of it, so we may be here for a while.
It's a tough choice. I kind of like getting the Nobleman to keep you off of setting.
Yeah.
But I also like Goat because it's just more goats. And that's very good. I am going to take the Nobleman, though. I'm going to just deter you a little bit.
I don't hate it. I will, of course, pass turn here.
And Metamorphosis! Damn. All right, main 1.
Yep.
I will attempt to normal summon a Tsukiyomi targeting your Mobius.
That is fine.
I will attempt to go to battle and hit into the Mobius.
I will Mirror Force. My body? You're thinking about my body?
Thinking about something.
Oh.
I'm going to chain Book of Moon targeting Tsukiyomi.
You're gonna Nobleman my Mobius. That's cute. I don't know if it's good. That's fine with me. Yeah.
Okay, so I will set the Suk, and I will just pass. Go ahead.
Oh, you're not gonna Nobleman my Mobius. All right. Well.
I don't care about the Mobius. That's the least of my concerns.
To attack goes my Mobius.
Sure.
Now my Mobius. Attack directly.
All right, flip, set again.
Second main, I'm gonna... I don't know, pass turn.
Okay. All right, Metamorphosis. All right, I will Nobleman the Mobius.
Boo! All right, so let me banish every Mobius from my deck.
If that card worked that way, that would be insane. I will just set a monster and pass. Go ahead.
I'll draw for turn. Ooh, that's a strange one. I'm gonna set a monster and a card, and you are good.
All right. I will draw. All right, let's go ahead and flip up this Magician of Faith.
Yeah, I was thinking that's probably the worst possible thing it could be for me. Yeah, that's fine.
I don't know if that's true because the selection of spells I have they're okay. Like, Nobleman's obviously nuts, but I don't know. Book is decent. Goats are also good. I think I will actually take the Nobleman. Yeah, let's do it.
Oh, really? Oh, I'm so surprised!
All right, so we'll fire that off. Get that out of here.
Oh, my God. I swear to God. So far, I've lost to exclusively Noblemen. I boarded out of all but one.
Okay, cool. I will attempt to hit in for 300 damage.
Oh, yeah. Oh, absolutely. You got me on the 25-turn clock, buddy.
I'll take it. I'll take it. Go ahead.
Awful.
Oh, fantastic. I'll draw. Ooh, that's actually not bad either. Hit for 300?
Hell yes, dude. Of course. Don't even ask.
All right. Main 2. I'll pass.
That's strange. I don't think I'm really scared of this. Keep going.
Okay, I'll draw. Hopefully we get something. Now, the one problem is the goats have me locked in a situation where my board cannot really get bigger.
I'm enjoying that a lot.
I bet you are. Okay, I'll play your game.
Absolutely. I'll take that 300 all day.
All right, she's done 900 total, so she's getting in there.
Oh, perfect. That's exactly what I was waiting for. All right, we're going to begin with a delinquent duo.
That is... Oh, my fucking God. That is, like, the one thing I was worried about.
That's the one thing we didn't want to happen. Oh my God, come on. Okay, let's grab this one right here.
That's probably the best card you could have taken out of my hand. Now I have to pick one of my own. All right, I guess I'll get rid of my breaker.
All right, it's going to get just a little bit worse. I'm going to soul exchange, sending your magician.
All right, the Stalos.
And then we're going to normal summon the Stalos.
Okay, at least I got the monster out of my hand. So,
all right,
a
50,
monster
50,
out of my
let's
hand.
go. Bada bing.
God damn it. It's the fucking heavy storm. Oh,
Let's go,
man. I was getting too
baby.
greedy. Too greedy.
Okay. Obviously, I can't use my battle phase this turn, so you are good.
Oh, you can't use your battle phase. Well, how unfortunate. I'll draw.
See, it's fair.
I'm not particularly incentivized to do anything because I do have some goats sitting up here.
You're like, I can just wait.
Yeah, go ahead.
I'll draw for turn. Oh, perfect. Well, guess what, buddy? I'm getting one of these goats one way or another. Let's
All
go!
Right. Taking him down. Taking him down. We'll draw.
Slowly.
Still not much going on. I'll just set and pass. Go ahead.
I'll draw for turn.
Trap dust shoot, baby. Let's see what you got.
You fool!
Oh,
it's all spells!
It is all spells. God, your hand is like as bad as mine was. All right, exchange, knock, heavy, goat. All right, you got me, buddy. You got me.
Let me get another fucking
Sure, sure.
All right, go ahead.
Fun and interactive format. I
love goat.
another. Go ahead.
Another trap dust shoot.
No, not another trap dust shoot. You're good.
All right, normal sinister.
That is fine.
All right, combat. Wow.
Okay, I'm gonna kick it out. Both goats, pretty good in case I get a metamorphosis.
If that set card is fucking scapegoat, it is the end for you.
I'll draw. We'll see. Damn. So it's heavy, soul, goat, knock.
Yeah.
Okay. Oh man, this is frustrating. Go.
We'll draw for turn. Stand by main. Battle.
Sure.
We'll go with Thestalos.
Sure.
All right, this is a play I am calling Don't Die to BLS. All right, go ahead.
Okay. I'll draw. Anything?
No, that's fine.
Okay, I figured. I didn't think that would have changed by this point. All right, so I'm gonna nobleman your set.
How? Buddy. It's Magician of Faith.
Oh, fantastic. Great. Great.
You have got to still have a Magician of Faith. You're only
I
on
do
2?
not actually.
Oh,
I do
great.
not.
Yeah. Very, very happy to hear that, buddy. Very excited to hear that.
All right. Well, I suppose I have to try something here. So I'm going to set, and I'm going to set, and I'm going to pass.
Sure. I'll draw for turn.
Thinking.
Sure.
I'm going to hate myself. I'm just going to dust shoot. Like, I know half your hand is spells. You probably have another one. This is dead. Like, let's see.
Yeah, you got one. It's Sandgam.
Oh, good. Okay, yeah, get it out of here. Cool.
All right, this isn't pretty, but I am going to knock your set card.
Okay, it was my Sinister Serpent.
Oh, whoa, I'm very happy to see that, in fact. Never mind. All right, let's get in with the Stalos again, I suppose.
Take 24.
All right, go ahead, buddy.
I'll draw. I will set and pass.
I'll draw. What on earth could you still have? What on earth could you still have?
There's many flip monsters we still have not shown at this point.
I have to run through all of them. Okay, this is a little crusty. I am going to do this. We're going to meta. Is that okay?
Yeah, meta's fine.
All right, we're going to go into Dark Blade, the Dragon Knight.
Okay.
No, I'm kidding.
Oh. I'm like, sure, that's fine.
Give me your dingus. This was in your hand.
It was in my hand.
You are a little pee-pee poo-poo head. Oh, you are a pee-pee poo-poo head. Oh my god, you are such a pee-pee poo-poo head.
I'm so mad.
Well, unfortunately, I don't think this does kind of complicate things, right?
A little bit, yeah, but I'm not complaining, to be honest.
All right, I'm gonna book here, targeting my own monster.
Lame. Fine.
And we'll get in for 24.
That I'll take.
All right, go ahead.
All right, we'll draw. That is the worst card I could have drawn. Go ahead.
I'll draw for turn. Anything in standby.
Nope.
I want my serpent back. Heavy.
I'm not gonna let you take me down. I'm gonna take myself down! Ring of Destruction, the Thestalos, motherfucker! Only I decide when I die!
Oh, jeez. What a disaster of a
Wow.
game. What's the set card? What sat there for 45 turns?
It was an MST, so I knew you had the goat, so I was, as soon as you set the goat, presumably I was gonna MST it. I figured this was probably something that I couldn't interact with anyway, so I'm like, okay, if that's a goat, whatever. But I knew you had the one, so I figured it's good to either save this for a premature burial or just anything, honestly, that wasn't what your set card already was. So I figured the goat was best if I had to turn around. I think I just really got screwed when I goated myself. And the other thing was I took back the knock with Magician when I already had the other knock in hand, because I was thinking I was just gonna like bait you into thinking that I only had the single copy. So then you'd set again and I could knock you twice. But being locked out with the goats, I couldn't summon this breaker, and losing plus breaker and heavy was like really critical, because then breaker wasn't able to apply any pressure, and then I couldn't really do much. The last card in my hand was a Parshath, so like that was just like dead at that point. That Thousand Eyes was just like the end of it. So I thought like I could bait you into your nobleman with Sinister, then get my Moth to flip, get the goat back to maybe survive a few more turns, but it just wasn't happening.
It was a weird one for sure.
There's another flip monster, by the way.
Oh, there he is. I figured you were on Merchant, but I was like, if you resolve Merchant, no big deal. Wow, I saw no Monarchs this game. I think it could have gone a lot quicker if I did, but it was just the Thestalos and the Mobius, and my hand is just rotting with like easy sacks like Sinister Serpent and like soul exchanges just out the wazoo. It kind of sucks that Parshath isn't high enough impact for this deck to consider, because so often I was like, damn, I could really go for a Parshath right now. Yeah, like Parshath is just insane, especially paired with like Metamorphosis on the Thousand Eyes. Like it's such a big tempo swing. I guess another thing I could have done was when I got that Nobleman back, I was considering the Book of Moon, but this was before I had like the rest of my hand, so I would have had to been just like a telepath to know, because having the Book of Moon to be able to set the Thestalos, then I could have maybe been able to walk over it, because since all you had was a Scapegoat in the back row and nothing. I mean, obviously like Saku's a concern as well, so it's like that's a hard call to make, but had you not duoed, I could have heavied first to clear the way, then like booked and like maybe done some shenanigans. The duo really, I think, was one of like the turning points, and maybe I could have obviously played better, and I probably could have, but duo really helped turn the tide of that game significantly, just because it hit two really incredibly powerful cards. No, I figured when we were just looking at the Magician of Faith just attack over and over again play, it was like you didn't have anything worth recycling in grave but the Nobleman, which like its utility gets massively diminished by like the midpoint of the game. So the punish isn't really Book of Moon. The punish is exactly Parshath, and I'm like, we're both playing to find a trinity that just cracks the game open. Yeah, I had Serpent in hand, so I was like, well, my Graceful Charity will be more live than Alex's. Maybe that's enough to outweigh the fourth really powerful card in Parshath that would otherwise dome me. But wow, I mean, just a glacially paced game, just a really slow one. I will credit Delinquent Duo 100% with that win. It was really deciding. And I think that really illustrates, I wouldn't say the problem with GOAT format, but one of its defining features. It really does, allow for this really slow control style gameplay that is occasionally interrupted by exactly Delinquent Duo, Pot of Greed, and Graceful Charity. Right, exactly. And like you saw, like I think in both, not just both, all three games, you got to see how impactful those cards were in defining which way the games went. I had my Sinister Serpent in hand for a few turns as well, in case you got the duo, but I think I might have drawn it the turn after you drew the duo. Yeah, so it was rough. It was like, just think how different this game could have been if your opener, which had two Magician of Faiths in it, had also included like a duo or a pot or a Graceful, and not a Nobleman. That was effectively your game too, right? I mean,
you just recycled it infinitely, but that's the problem. So I was playing the 3 Magician of Faith, which is, I wouldn't say typical in this format. I would say people most often than not play 2. And I decided to play the 3rd one because I'm like, yeah, if I get the Trinity going, like I probably just win the game. I didn't see a single piece of it this time, and Magician of Faith just really wasn't able to do much. Again, I could have probably made better choices in my spell selection, but I mean, had that been just a different sort of card, that maybe could have actually affected the outcome. Who knows? Obviously, there's like way too many variables to say that for sure, but I do appreciate GOAT format because not only is it a very simple way to play the game, but it's the age-old, you know, adage of easy to play, hard to master, right? I always advocate for, if you're going to teach someone how to play Yu-Gi-Oh, that you should either teach them like one of the very first formats we played, which is like 2002, 2003, which is like bare bones Yu-Gi-Oh. Like that is as bare bones as Yu-Gi-Oh gets. But for something with a little more interaction, for a little more skill testing, then GOAT format's here, right? Because each monster has one effect, except like BLS, and it's pretty simple to pick up GOAT format, and people can get a general understanding of how the cards function. You get a wide breadth of cards to see how they interact, but then the further you want to take that experience is really up to you, right? That's why there's an entire dedicated player base of people who still play this format to the very day. I just learned that there's apparently a UFC title belt for the world champion of GOAT format. That's pretty badass. I'll probably put a picture of that on the screen for you guys to see, but I really do enjoy this format. Is it like the best of all time? I'm probably not in the position to say, but it is a lot of fun. It does remind me of older Yu-Gi-Oh! And I think it reminds a lot of people of older Yu-Gi-Oh! As well.
Yeah, no, I love GOAT format. For a long time when people are like, what should I start with? I was like, speed duels. But at the end of the day, speed duels is a format that has 3 deck choices, maybe 4. And GOAT format not only has a bunch of different deck choices, they have deck choices that cater to every sort of play style. So if you don't know anything about GOAT format, you don't understand, you know, what these realistically simplistic cards that are pretty hard to activate optimally do, you can play a deck like Beast Down. You know, you can play a dedicated aggro strategy, and you'll be able to take games off some of the top players just by being good at what it is you do. It is just so unbelievably shocking to me that this format continues to have innovations. There continue to be changes made to the tier list in a format that hasn't been played, you know, legally in almost 2 decades. It's unbelievable. A child born when GOAT format ended can, I think, vote now? Maybe in the midterms. It's unbelievable.
It's surreal. It's surreal. And just for reference, the GOAT gods of this game, like the legendary GOAT players, could probably just take the match that they watched both you and I play and probably dissect it down to a science as to exactly
like shit this match. Please don't do that. Oh, please don't do that.
But I'm saying, though, they could probably make like a 4-hour discussion on every single line of play that we made and whether or not it was optimal or not. And it probably wasn't, for the record, so you beat me to it, Joseph. I was going to say don't do that, but the point being is that the players who dedicate themselves to playing this format just have it down to a science. To them, every single move makes or breaks a single game. You know, a lot of us might attribute the Holy Trinity, Unholy Trinity to that, but even then, they still feel as though the cards are okay. It's incredible. And again, this is what Yu-Gi-Oh! Is to a lot of people, right? Most people who might have seen Yu-Gi-Oh! Growing up when it was like in its like peak of peaks, that you saw these types of cards. These are the nostalgic cards people remember, not just from seeing other people play the game, but even from the anime as well, you know, like Mirror Force and, you know, fun stuff like that.
It's so funny that so many of these cards were never played in the anime. You know, they have no TV counterpart, but like if you ask a random 25-year-old like, hey, what's Magician of Faith, they'll probably know. Like,
probably.
You'll be like, what's Heavy Storm? They're like, oh, that's a Yu-Gi-Oh card, right? What are Scapegoats? I guess they did show up in the anime pretty frequently.
Yeah.
But every one of these cards is just an icon in its own right. Sinister Serpent, the Monarchs as a tribe, you know, Breaker, Thousand Eyes Restrict, Sakuretsu Armor. Like, kids remember these from playgrounds. People who played competitively remember them from Top Cuts, and you know, for better or for worse, Yu-Gi-Oh! Has moved on, but I don't think any of us are ever going to forget like the impact that these cards had on us.
Yeah, I'm really happy that we did do this 3rd and final episode on GOAT format, because like, let's be honest.
I'm glad we played control decks too.
Right? We actually got to experience like a real match where the other let's say they didn't get sacked, but you know, that's
one
relative.
of them I did sack pretty hard.
I was gonna say, but I mean, in relative scale, I would say it was in a different sort of way. But Joseph, we're moving on to Cybernetic Revolution, and Cyber Dragon is right around the corner to ruin Yu-Gi-Oh! Forever. I'm so excited.
Yeah.
I fucking love Cyber Dragon, Joseph.
I remember hating it right after GOAT format when I was a kid because it was so expensive.
Yes.
And the difference between a deck playing 3 Cyber Dragon and a deck playing 0 was a night and day. It was
Right.
like, I'll tribute summon Parshath, and they'd be like, yeah, cool, I'll eat it with Sidra. It's like,
Yep.
oh, you got
Exactly.
it.
It changed the entire dynamic of the game. I remember growing up. So for people who don't know, Cyber Dragon initially came as a super rare, and the super rares were like $30. And if you wanted the ultimates, good luck. Like, maybe they're not as expensive as they are now because people are lunatics and have money. But back in the day, it was just like unheard of if you actually had ultimate Cyber Dragons. But it was just format warping. I cannot wait to get to it. It's funny because it's maybe the only like impactful card in Cybernetic Revolution. But
There's some other stuff, but mostly it is Cyber Dragon and the ban list.
Yeah.
I will say, before we conclude, your gameplay this game means that Nobleman of Cross-Outing, Dekoichi the Battle-Chanted Locomotive, now has a 0% win rate in the history of Yu-Gi-Oh!
Damn it! I'm so disappointed about that. So guys, that's gonna wrap it up for this episode of the history of Yu-Gi-Oh! Looks like I'll be in the shirt of shame once again for the Cybernetic Revolution episode, but you're not gonna want to miss it because Cyber Dragons are gonna be flying left and right. We do have to shout out our patrons, so big shouts to Shadow1317, Sean Alling Jr., Tim00x3, Joshua O'Reilly, Neo Cypher Slacker, Pony Stark, Angayoko, Michael Dente, Ole, Shotagonist, Rasmus, Ika Ironfang, Mystic Walk, Dan the Man Hoban, Part 2, Sylvia Wild, Synchro Guy, Brian Dancer, GW, Dollywop, Dragon Lord, Jarvis Martin, Logan Thomas, Peter Gregory, Thomas Nelson, Daniel Baker, Emil Cohen, Draconic, Jordan Coons, Iron Bladesman, Pure Ace, Icky Lights, Inuo Taisho, Jesse Wood, True Nerdgasm, Benjamin Fuller, Brother Paul, Chris Hood, Lumpy, Nehru Celeste, Shane Reese, Rockley325, JM Church, Lane Rogers, and Peruvian's Finest for YGC 2021. Thank you all so much for watching the video, and we will see you next time.